So it's that time again. It's currently 3:39 in the morning, start of June, and I've had a lot of family stuff happen recently at the start. Like I basically got on break, had about like 4 days to relax, and then I've been running again. And one of the things that sucks about that, I think I've talked about it a lot, is that I'm a computer science major, so there's always this pressure that you could be doing something because it's online. But I really wanted to give myself a break, which I did. And now I'm behind on some deliverables. Still don't know what my working situation is. And in a weird time in my life, I don't really care. I extended my graduation. So I was supposed to be graduating uh, this academic year. That would be spring 27. Pushed it back one more semester to fall. So the extra time, the extra summer, has taken some of the pressure off where I felt like I really needed to get that job experience this summer. And for once, I actually just want to enjoy my summer, enjoy my time, try to figure out what I want to do in my 20s, get some self discovery going. And it's been a very strange thing for me. I think this comes out of the family things that have been going on, where I suddenly feel this need to have some self reflection. Is also paired with, well, one, growing up and starting to brace myself for the end of college. But also, I mean, like, I just went to a wedding. And contrary to, like, the most birthday parties I go to, or most of the family events I go to, like, I actually know the person getting married. And this is a sibling, you know, sister, someone I've grown up with, someone I've looked up to for a very long time in my life, somebody who, sure, they've been in and out of my life. They're pretty older than me, but I've known this person a lot. I spent a lot of time with this person. Not as much as like some of my close friends, but like I've spent a lot of time with this person. I've known this person the entirety of my life, and I started digging through some memories. Open up the old memory barks. I think I was just looking for cash because well, that's what I told myself. I was gonna go deposit some money. But you look through like old like, birthday cards, and you're looking through birthday cards, graduation, Chinese New Year, and man, I love my family, you know? There's just all these signs of these people that have shown up for me time and time again. And like middle school, even going into high school, like as a kid, you were just like super bored at these family events. You didn't really know anyone. You felt like there was no one your age. I remember really being angry, or at least like kind of frustrated as a kid because I felt like I had this capacity for conversations, and my family, you could treat it like a little kid because you are a little kid. And I wanted to be a part of those adult conversations. That was something that I longed for the longest time. And then now I'm an adult. I'm not a proper adult, for sure. I'm still in college, but I don't got a job, like a proper job. I'm still working part time, but, you know, I can understand the adult conversations. In this trip, I've learned a lot about my family. You saw your parents maybe break down for the first ever time in front of you, show some emotions, some loss of professionalism. Saw my sister cry, my sisters cry. I've seen two men come into my family, men that I look up to. I see them as very mature individuals. I see them fill gaps in my sister's lives that I never could have imagined somebody filling. And it's like they speak the language like they just found somebody who supports and cares for them and meets their needs. And You look at these guys with nothing but admiration and familiarity. It's like you want them to be a part of your family. You're proud to be associated with them, and you're very happy for your sisters. And for once, you're not defensive, and that's weird, right? Usually, people are really defensive of their siblings. Usually, you look at your dad in a wedding. It's like, oh, they're not like my little girl anymore. That's what you expect your dad to say. But there was nothing but like pride. There was nothing but happiness at the wedding, and that's how you know that something had gone right in the family. And unfortunately, I found out that behind the scenes that wasn't the case. Family was processing a lot of emotions. I'm not gonna dive into my family situation, but let's just say there were a lot of moving pieces, so to speak, and bringing all those people together brought back some memories that may have been difficult to process, or some unsavory individuals in which not everyone gets along, but you make it work because you really care about the newlyweds, right? And it's a union of families. You're bringing together people that don't really know each other too well, and make it work. And overall, it was honestly great ceremony, great reception, lots of incredibly happy people. It's going crazy on the dance floor, and you see a lot of people, and my sister's much older than me, so you see a lot of people from part of the life that you never really knew. People from college, people from work, different works, and you're seeing extended family, seeing a lot of your family that you may not have seen in a while. And it's really just amazing how all these people, they come together in support and celebration of something greater than themselves. And I think it's more impactful more because I remember it. Like, I definitely have been to weddings. I've been told at least, but I was an infant. So, knowing people, having the obligation to know people, understanding the family dynamics, the family tree, knowing the fiance and the bride and the groom, and this label of, your sister to someone who is also a wife and as a husband, and these people are wife and husband. Also, you're seeing them kiss a lot. I was strange because I've almost never seen them demonstrate affection, at least when I was in the vicinity. All of this is just very remarkable, and it raises some questions of how maybe I should want to approach my own love life, how I want my end goals to end up being, but that isn't really like what struck me so remarkably. Like, I really was just seeing like all these people gather, all these different people. Some of these people that I know definitely don't get along. All these family dynamics that got all these people here, all the different places that the people flown in from, and to make this happen. I know that like her best friend, for example, had a wedding literally the day before, went into the night. On 2 hours of sleep, she hops on a flight and gets there early, to help set up. All of us were helping set up. I was transporting alcohol. They're playing a big game of Tetris, filling up cars, and we get to the hotel, and you're all getting ready, looking classy, all excited to put everything together. And man, everyone's out there and put a lot of intention behind it. I know that one of my sisters, she picked out the dress like a month, not more than a month, man. That dress was sitting around for almost like half a year in preparation for this event. And I wasn't really thinking about it. It was on my calendar. I got the reminders, and then it all kind of just happened. And you sat thinking like, first of all, there's this whole new part of your family now. You got a new brother-in-law, but there's also like, yeah, there's just so many people that you now care about by like proxy, right? Because you know sometimes there's someone that and you don't really like them, and then somebody that you care about a lot cares for that person, so you care for that person, even if you don't particularly like them. And that was some of the sentiment. I think the other part was just you're seeing this person's like very remarkable family, and you're like, wow, this is wow, I really looked up to this person. I'm like, this person has a great family. They seem very interesting. They're sharing personal stories. They're sharing a lot of laughs. They're sharing food with people that you don't typically share food with, and you're expanding your circle. And that was something that I just wasn't really akin to when I was like a little kid, you know? And I feel very comfortable around my family. I love my family a lot. I care for them a lot. But this whole like being an adult and being aware and caring about your family and actually processing the things that your family is processing and having this gratitude, like these are all very new things to me. Because I think I've been so self-absorbed, dealing with my own life. That I thought end of the world was I get through high school and then I get through college, and seeing on this family, I getting all the way back to looking through those cards. That's every year, right? Man, I think I saw stuff going all the way back to when I was like 6. And these are people that showed up for birthdays or sent in stuff for birthdays, and yeah, and Christmas too. Birthdays, Christmas, and graduations. Every single one, elementary, middle, high. And I look at all that and I'm like, all these people cared about me and came through for me, even if they almost like knew nothing about me. These people weren't here for my day-to-day life. They just know me as like the son to someone they care about, or the brother to someone that they care about, and they send in stuff. And I think another thing that messed me up is I saw like a bunch of birthday stuff from friends. From like friends that I used to have this conviction that I'm like, oh, these people need to be at my birthday party. I celebrated my birthday alone this year. Like I saw not that's not true. Sorry, I got hot pot with my family, but I spent most of it alone. It was just a normal school day. I had a meeting. I got some work done. You go to your classes. I exercised a little bit, took a nap, and then I went out with my parents, and then I went home, I went to bed, and it was just another day. I used to look forward to like a birthday party. It would never be on time. It would always be days late. I used to really not want to tell people my birthday because I didn't want it to be something special. I didn't want these people to look at me and like, oh, this is so remarkable. I just kind of wanted to be older. For a really long time, I just wanted to be somebody, to be older, to be known, to be established, maybe. I just didn't want any more tests. I didn't want any more of this work. I wanted just something like repetitive and that I knew I could do, that was within my capacity. I didn't want to be tested anymore. And I wanted to be a part of those adult conversations. As I said previously, I wanted to know what my family was talking about. This seemed so grand. They're always talking about tech and how to spend or invest their money. And I was like, oh, all of this looks so exciting. And now that I'm older, I'm not as enthusiastic. I mean, I do love conversating with my family, but I'm not as enthusiastic about the ways that I can spend my money and investing it and all these events and obligations. I'm like, administratively, I really messed up for helping and supporting my family and my sister, and it was really disappointing to me because I was somebody who prided myself on being very organized and on making very little mistakes. And I did this for strangers, right? I showed up, I ran clubs and did stuff as a student and leadership, and I did that as for complete strangers. And one of the people that I really care and love about needed me to show up. I fell asleep. I woke up at 7 a.m. I was supposed to help my father. I went to bed. And then I woke up late, hour late, helped him pack the car. And he didn't even get mad at me, raise his voice, anything. He was just like, thanks for coming through. And I forgot my shirt for my suit. I had to go spend another $70, go get a shirt. And ultimately, I mean, I helped with some setup, but I'm like, I didn't feel like I did anything substantial. There was other people that, gave speeches. I didn't give no speech. And, I tried to dance. I wish I could talk to my sister more on her big day. My other sister, she got driven to tears writing her note. I wrote a note to my sister. It did not drive me to tears. I think I talked about blowing up her bathroom. That was a nice memory that we had, where I just went to the bathroom, didn't turn on the the fan. I didn't know there was a fan. I didn't know they had air freshener in there. I didn't know there was a window that I was supposed to open. And I just recently, this home that they got, blew up the whole house. And that's what I wrote about, because I didn't want to write about the super sappy things. It was a celebration. I wore my white shirt, and I wanted it to be a celebration. I wanted it to be a very happy occasion. I didn't want to think about all the friends that I feel like I've lost and the connections that I've lost. She's always been someone that you could confide in, and someone that I've trusted a lot, and someone who'd always set you straight. Honestly, just a very based person all around. And because of the way that she was very in and out of my life, I always looked up to my sister, kind of like an auntie. They were successful. They work hard. They send you money on your birthdays, even if they can't physically make it. If you want to see them, you kind of gotta invest. It's a very intentional effort, and much older than you too, right? So, and having that heart to heart and reaching out, that was strange to me. Or I could tell them that, hey, you're someone that I've looked up to for a really long time in my life. She's in a place that I would love to be in. She works very hard. She's found who I believe to be the love of her life, somebody who supports her, who speaks her language, who inspires her curiosity. The house were great. She's very well put together. And someone I said that I've appreciated a lot, that I've always been able to lean on. And she's someone who's been that person for a lot of people. And considering her circumstances that I just know that she's grown up under, I mean, it's very remarkable that she's continued to bring that character, which she does, and that smile on her face. I didn't want to say those things on that card, because I would have just broken out into tears, man. I think I wrote on there, it's you've become you too, because it's written to the bride and groom. Some of the anecdotal evidence that true love exists out there. I don't know why. I have a guess. But mentally it was a really hard time for me to express the gratitude that usually comes to me in droves. I'm usually really good about just dumping all the stuff that you care about over someone for the past year, because I don't like being a super wholesome and sweet and gushy person. I like just shooting the shit and being rude and mean. And then when it comes to events of appreciation, I really like to tell people how much they mean to me. Usually you do that every year. For me, it was kind of just get in the car and you get driven over to their place and you share cake, send a happy birthday message. And I've never had the financial capacity to be able to support them. And I was always just making these really lame handmade gifts with these nice notes or a little bit of both. But this was This is a wedding, man. Dude, my sister's like married. And how can you summarize these? It's my entire life that I've known this person, that I've appreciated this person. And you look at all this family that's come to support you, and I finally get to be that family that supports your sister, and I'm just like, damn, man. It's a very, like, I don't know. I didn't feel like a good brother in that moment, because I really was just like protecting myself by like wanting to keep it like not as sappy. But you know, I hope she knows that we really love her, and she's meant a lot to me in my development. Checks in and texts. Really busy person. There's a time she was working 996 and she still reached out and would text and check in on us. So, I think all I mean to say is, like, care for your family, man. I love my family, and it's been a very meaningful thing to say that they've always come through for me. And the least you can do is come through for them. I see the messages from my grandparents, my parents, my siblings, aunties, uncles, extended family. Like, you get all those notes and the support and the money of people who barely know you, just because you are somebody that someone they care for cares for. And now I'm getting older and I'm trying to, at least at this family event, I had to help take care of my grandparents. Honestly, I had to help my parents a bit too. And honestly, it's a great feeling to support the people that you care for. And I felt the same to finally be able to do that for my sister as well. And it meant a lot to be invited to their wedding. I would say, like, no shit, you're a brother. You're the brother of the bride. Of course you're invited to the wedding, but at least to me, I'm just like, it still means that you're chosen. I don't feel like I have a right or an obligation to be in anyone's life. And it means a lot to be chosen, like, every single day. And I recently went through a bout of, like, I'm having some difficulty processing, like, friends and what kind of friend I want to be, what kind of person I want to be, and how I want to fit into my family. For some reason, I was thinking about this channel a lot during my time with the wedding and throughout this vacation. I had a lot of ideas that I just wanted to throw out there, and yeah. So I'm kind of just sitting in this wave of euphoria, I guess, of thinking about my family and how much they've meant to me and how much they supported me throughout the years, and I have the physical evidence of it. And it feels pretty good, honestly, to, I guess, not be a kid anymore, and to be able to see my family for who they are and what they deal with, and to finally be able to support them. Oh, just a little bit in the way they've supported me, and I hope that the day feels really special. I saw that they were watching a nature documentary on their day 2 honeymoon. Very, very humorous. So they're enjoying life, and she's going into her next chapter, and she has a beautiful. Hopefully, I believe that she has a beautiful family. Yeah, that's about it.